Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday morning Mortgage Coach coaching call. Every Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific, we're here to connect as a community. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach, and we are passionate about reinventing the mortgage experience for loan officers, home buyers, and realtors. Part of how we're doing that is coming out with amazing mobile experiences. So whether you're in a real estate office and you're meeting with a home buyer, having that conversation, hand them an iPad and drive that experience with your Edge laptop. Whether you're in an open house and you want to turn that into a mobile experience by having an open house flyer sitting on a stand with an iPad, whether it's the realtor's iPad or one that you borrowed for the open house. Any way that you can create an experience, not just a link book, better. So that's our goal, that's our mission, and so I'm always bringing in industry leaders, speakers, authors, top loan officers to inspire you guys and to provide you with ideas. So today the special guest is Mr. Roberto Monaco. Roberto, welcome.
Welcome, buddy. Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited to be here.
Good. Well, Roberto, I don't even know how many times you've been a guest in the Mortgage Coach community. It's been a lot. Really passionate about what you teach. So passionate that we pay to send our success coaches to get trained by Roberto. Roberto's got a lot of great training around how to be a great public speaker, about how to create great videos, and even how to just have a great conversation with someone in the coffee shop. Roberto's going to share some great takeaways, and we're going to get into that conversation within about 5 or 10 minutes. Just some housekeeping before I officially bring Roberto in. If you're new to the call, make sure you connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. This call will be recorded. If you have not already subscribed to us on our YouTube channel, go to Mortgage Coach in YouTube, subscribe, and within an hour or two, we're always pushing out our coaching calls out. Anytime we add new features, we push that out. And our Thursday trainings, we're pushing that out in a recording. I do want to give everybody a reminder that last Wednesday, this Wednesday, and for like the next 4 Wednesdays, we're going to be doing a special just 30-minute, really tight, really lean training call around specific ideas and strategies. So don't miss that. 11 a.m. Pacific, next 4 Wednesdays, including tomorrow. So one thing I want to do before I bring Roberto in, I want to do a success story. I had the honor of being part of Todd Duncan's Sales Mastery Bootcamp. That's one of Todd's the foundation to his teaching. About 120 loan officers get to go through that. I think it's like 3 or 4 times a year. I know it's at least twice a year. And I was one of the speakers on Friday, along with Bill Hart, some other, Michael Reagan from Building Champions, just a lot of great leaders and a lot of great loan officers. So I got the chance to see Andrew Stortavone, and he's been a guest on these calls. And he was just saying a lot of great things. You know, I was asking him what his big takeaways were from Todd Duncan today, so I want to bring that in. Andrew, before you go through your Todd Duncan takeaways, if you could just share everybody, you don't have to read this out loud, but what is your why? And why are you a Mortgage Coach member, and why are you delivering a Mortgage Coach experience to all your home buyers and realtors?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Dave. You know, for me, it's delivering superior advice. My clients deserve the best advice, and Mortgage Coach is software that helps me figure that out and allows me to present that to a consumer in an easy format for them to understand.
Hey, Andrew, how quickly can you create a Mortgage Coach experience? How much time does it take you?
3 minutes. I mean, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, so, and how many, I mean, you may not know the exact number, but how many experiences have you created?
We've done at least 1,000.
So that's, by the way, you do not want to compete with Andrew and his team. I mean, he's created 1,000 Mortgage Coach experiences. He's got it down to where we're talking 3 minutes. 3 extra minutes, and you deliver something better than everybody in your market and all your competition. Andrew, what do you say to the Mortgage Coach members on this call that they have the tool? You know, they use it when they think they need to use it, but why should they use it with each and every client and with every referral from a realtor? Why should they do it all the time?
Dave, there's so many reasons to do that, but for one, when I'm meeting with the volume of clients that I am, it's hard for me to remember what I've gone over with everyone. So at the end of the presentation, what I do is I have the 4 different options. I highlight the one that I'm recommending to them. I send them the email. They come back to it, and then I get an email that says when they visited. So I get to reach out to them today again and say, hey, do you have any questions about what we spoke about? I know which option that I presented to them as the best option because it's highlighted for me already. The realtor gets notified if we want them to when they've viewed it as well. And realtors just love the impact that it has. It presents me as an extreme professional in the business.
Really, really solid, Andrew. And any feedback from realtors about being able to view this on a mobile app and the mobile value of being able to review a mortgage experience? Any feedback on that?
Yeah, I've actually had a few of my realtors say that a client has brought it up in a home when they're visiting it to see whether they want to make an offer on it, and they have the payments, everything right in front of them, that they're actually looking at it when they're making the decision to write the offer or not. Clients, realtors, everybody demands information very quickly. So to have it mobile and to have it in a format that looks nice is just awesome.
Nice, nice. So I want to get Roberto in within about 7 minutes here, but I would like to know what were your top takeaways from the 3 days of training with Todd Duncan last week?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's so much to take away. If any of you have not done this, you need to go to the boot camp. Duncan, man, Todd delivers so much value at Mastery, but in the boot camp, it really just hammers everything down. So there's 3 main areas that I found that were key points: the borrower experience, the pipeline management, and then powerful partnerships. And so I don't have time today to go over all of those different things, but I know one thing that I need to do is become better in scripting. So how I deliver my presentation to the client, asking the questions up front, and then presenting the solutions with the total cost analysis. But one thing I wanted to go over that Todd gave as a valuable item is there's 6 questions that he says you should be asking your realtor partners every week. I'm going to give them to you real quick. It'll be hard to take these down, but I'm sure if you visit the Duncan's website and everything, you can get access to the information. But the first one is, who have you met with in the last 7 days who you would like to sell real estate to, and you're not sure that they're going to go with you? Okay, so obviously you can quickly get, you're going to cross-sell the agent back and get their conversion rate as high as possible, which obviously helps your conversion rate as well. Second one is, who do you plan to show property to in the next 7 days who I should speak to make sure we optimize their purchasing power? And obviously the total cost analysis will help you do exactly that. The third one is, what are your open house plans for the next 2 to 4 weeks that I can help you create a success strategy for? Number 4 is, what buyers have you closed in the last 30 to 60 days that you have not hosted a housewarming party? So Michael Mayer wrote the book, 7 Levels of Communication. The housewarming strategy is in that book. Number 5, what agents trust you who aren't having a great lender experience who I could now contact for using your referral? So then you're using the agents that you're doing a great job for to really spread you further. And then 6, what needs do you have that I need to meet? All of us need to get better, and simply asking one question of somebody that we're trying to build a powerful relationship with is, what do you need that I can meet? Is a pretty powerful question. So I'll be implement that in the next few days, and I know Cody Hartridge, who works for my company, has used that as one of his ways to get success over the last year or so.
very, very solid. So Jeremy Forcier created these, 5 questions to ask during a new realtor meeting, and that we have, we've turned that into a teaching where it was part of the coaching call. We made it like a 3-minute soundbite, and it's just been priceless. We've got so much great value. And Andrew, I think what you just shared here is just tremendous wisdom. If anybody wrote those down, feel free to share those on the Facebook page in the comments section of today's coaching call, just for the benefit of other Mortgage Coach members. And we'll do our best to continue to remind you guys of these just awesome questions. Also, if anybody else has a question that you're asking on a weekly basis that you think is really effective and worth sharing to other members, let us know what it is. I'll keep an eye on the questions in the GoToMeeting part, and we'll try to have a little more dialogue around that. Questions are just key to selling. So Andrew, another thing that came up when I was chatting with you that inspired me to say, hey, I'd love to have you on next week's coaching call, was you were sharing that there was some contest. I think it was the winner got $500 at your President's Club for Cornerstone, which Cornerstone, Mark Laird's a great friend and mortgage coach, great leader in the industry, and I know you guys had some President Club meeting recently, and you won, the $500 award voted by your peers for a great idea. So one, I would like you to share what the idea was, and then I think you said you pitched it in 1 minute, so it was just a really tight 1-minute idea pitch. I'd like to have you, as close as you can, emulate what you did at your President's Club. So what was the big idea, and then let's do the 1-minute pitch.
Okay, great. So yeah, we had a rough time down in Puerto Rico a couple weeks ago. We did this dating game where you each pitched the idea, so that was the event that I won. But the idea was that I meet with a client, I lead them out of my office, and then I come back, I record a video in the Mortgage Coach software so that when I send them the total cost analysis, the first thing they open, they get a video from me speaking to them. And one thing that Todd teaches is that people make decisions emotionally. So if you can tie it to their highest value needs, you have a much better success or a much better chance of getting success through them. So I tie it to, hey, it's a great thing that we're going to show you how to pay off your mortgage sooner so that you can retire on time, or that we can lower your payments so you can save for your college, your kids' college education. So tie it to that up front. And then I just give a script on a way to tie them into me and to trust me. So I say, hey, the mortgage industry was a primary reason that our economy fell apart a few years back. And some of that had to do with consumers not asking questions. Some of it had to do with mortgage lenders not explaining things very well. But either way, I am passionate about making sure that my clients fully understand things. So there's no stupid question. There's no asking the same question too many times. We're here to help. And then I tie in my team about how you may be calling in and I might not be the one answering it. And so I kind of, empower my team to answer those questions. And I found that to be something that's very powerful, and it's something that when they have it on that video, they come back to it more than once. I've had clients go back to it literally 50 times over a couple-week span. And so they're getting to hear me speak to them every time in words that tell them that I am listening to what's important to them, and that they can trust me based on my passion for them.
Solid. So now, does that encompass your 1-minute dating game pitch, or is that kind of different from what you just said, or do you feel like you've shared it with everybody?
No, I just shared it. So the 1-minute pitch was essentially the idea is recording the video after the appointment, tying it to their highest value needs, and then giving the script that I just gave it to you.
Boom, guys. So out of great lender, Cornerstone, some of the best loan officers in the country competing for who had the best idea, winner gets $500. That was the best idea. So folks, everybody on this call, you're sitting on the best idea in the industry, which is delivering mortgage options with a video rate quote. So do more of it. Ideas are great, but without implementation and execution, what good's a great idea. So just some important follow-up from the past calls that we've done, and last week, the week before. It's critical, guys, that you are having mortgage coach experiences in real estate offices and open houses. Make sure you're driving that mobile experience anywhere and everywhere you can. Realtors love it, so make sure you're driving it. As a reminder, this Todd Duncan Total Cost Selling video, if you have not watched this, you need to watch this script. Just put Todd Duncan into the app and you can watch it. So we're very committed to helping you reinvent the mortgage experience so you have better conversion rates, you win trust faster with realtors, you get more referrals from realtors. So, Andrew, I want you to stay on the call. Feel free to add some color as we bring Roberto into the game. If you have a question for Roberto, bring it. And if you have some color to provide from the trenches, bring that too. Okay, Andrew?
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
All right, man. Hey, by the way, I mean, that was priceless, man. You gave us some great takeaways, some great scripts, great 15 minutes, and we haven't even got to Roberto yet. All right, so drum roll for Roberto Monaco.
Yeah!
So everybody, I'm always excited and I'm always fired up. Whether I'm having coffee with Roberto, which I got to do a couple weeks ago in San Diego, I mean, his energy and just being around him brings me to a new level. So Roberto, thank you for just being the man of energy and passion you are. I think what makes me excited about what Roberto's going to share with everybody is that not only will it give you more confidence and help you be more effective when you're speaking to a group of realtors, not only will it make you more effective when you're creating different types of video assets, this is something that's going to help you when you have a coffee meeting in a Starbucks. Again, I'm not a Starbucks guy, but a coffee meeting with a local entrepreneur, coffee purveyor. Wherever you want to meet with someone and you've got a half an hour and you're trying to build respect, credibility, and an engaging relationship, what Roberto is going to share with you is relevant. It's valuable. So with no more pre-framing on my end, Roberto, I have passed the screen to you, my friend.
Okay.
And we look forward to learning from you.
Excellent. Let me know. Here we go. Boom, show my screen. I want to make sure you guys can see my screen, Dave.
Houston, we have a takeoff.
All right. So here you go, guys. Smiley mug. Original price $2. Final price was sold on eBay for $32. Bowling bag salt shaker. 50 cents. Original price was sold for 49 bucks. Who'd pay 49 bucks for a salt shaker? Here we have it. Wooden mallet. Original price 33 cents. Sold. Final price $71. And my favorite one, a fake banana. Value at 25 cents. Final price. Someone paid $76. You're thinking, Roberto, this is crazy. And I agree with you. This is crazy. Actually, you can find these examples plus 100 more examples in this website if you just type it up, significant objects. That was a study done by Rob Walker and Joshua Glenn, and they're trying to demonstrate the fact of narrative or story on any given object's subjective value can be measured objectively. Okay? So basically they got all these crazy objects where it's really hard to have a value on, like a mug, and they literally got 200 professional writers and they wrote these very short stories and put on eBay. And now their ROI on those objects went to the roof, crazy. I mean, they're like 2,700 ROI %. Who does that? And that is the power of story. I love what Andrew said, that Todd Duncan said, ultimately, you got to get them emotionally involved. Right? Andrew said that. And here's how you do it when you tell who you are, what you do. I'm going to give you a form right now that took me 11 years of professional speaking to fine-tune. So get a pen and paper, because when you apply this is going to be life-changing. Now, this is an example of the stories. Obviously, I just did the screenshot. We don't have to read it, but it was just, you can read it actually. But it was just to show you the stories they wrote about these crazy objects. Was very short. And here's the top 10. So here's one object. Market price. Guys, pay attention. Globe paperweight. Market price $1.49. Sold price $107. Russian figure, right? $3. Sold at $193. What is the ROI on that? Right? And I'm telling you, that is the power of storytelling. When you master storytelling, that's what's going to happen. Now, storytelling is just like the Trojan horse. Remember the Trojan horse, the Greek army, according to the legend, was fighting against the Trojans, and the Greek army was losing. Then eventually they built up this wooden horse, and they sail away, and they left the horse outside the Trojans' gates. Right? And then the Trojans goes, hey, we won the war. They left a gift for us. And they brought the horse in. What happens? In the middle of the night, the Greek army, as you know, obviously, they left the horse and ended up conquering the town. Story selling is just like that, because you tell a story and your clients go, oh, it's just a story. And within the story, there's a persuasive message that goes straight into their minds, hearts, and souls, regardless if they are realtors, consumers, referral partners, CPAs, financial planners. All it matters is that they're humans. If they're humans, it's going to work. All right. Here's another study just to prove that storytelling is super powerful for you, my friends, loan officers. Here you go. Drink little water. ER show. Remember the ER show? You all remember ER, right? Now, ER wasn't like a real reality show. It was a soap opera, pretty much. Right? It was a story. And the scientists, they want to know, by the way, in psychologists, there's a term called transportation level. Write it down, guys. Transportation level, or the transportability, meaning that when you tell the story, how engaged your story is, meaning can your story transport your clients to a different place? That's when it becomes persuasive. So what they did, they interview all these ER viewers. And here's this, by the way, you can find this study in the book Resistance and Persuasion by Dr. Eric Knowles, okay? This is not my stuff, scientifically proven. So check this out. 50% of the ER viewers told the researchers that they talk about medical issues after the show. No big deal, right? You watch a show, which is not a reality show, it's just a story, and you talk with your family. No big deal. Now check this out. 14% of the interviewers said that after watching that story, the ER show, they call their physician, ask specifically about some conditions. And here's what's crazy. 33% of the people who actually watched the show made some health decisions without consulting their physician, just based on the device they saw on ER, which, by the way, is not a reality show, was just a story. Think about that. That's the power of storytelling, okay? Great stories equal behavioral change. Roberto, as a loan officer, what kind of behavioral change do I want? Well, I want the top realtors to stop working with someone else, work with me. I want realtors to refer me. I want consumers start thinking about it and call me up to get pre-qualified or to buy another house or an investment property. Right? Behavioral change. And the stories have the impact, the capacity to do that. Now, when it comes to storytelling, and we teach storytelling 10 hours, so I'm doing my best here in 40 minutes. There's 3 stories that loan officers got to know how to tell. 3 stories, okay? Write it down. Client story, personal story, Swiss Army knife story. With these 3 stories, you're golden for the rest of your career. Okay. Now, client stories are the ones I recommend for you to include in your ad videos. Now, by the way, I love Andrew, 1,000 ad videos. I just love it, man. 1,000 more experiences. By the way, Edge is a must for everybody. If you want to become a thought leader, if you want to create leverage, if you want to provide expert advice, I'm not an officer. If I were, I would be doing every single day. Why not do it? It's crazy. It's fast, 3 minutes, get out. Now, a client story, for example, is what happens to the client. And the pattern is very simple. Before, during, and after. Before, my clients were having this challenge. During my mortgage process, I did this, result, they saved money, they bought a house, whatever, right? Before, during, after, before the problem, during the process, after result. Now, that's the client story. I'm not covering that today. The Swiss Army knife story is the story that you use to illustrate a point. Let's say you want to create urgency. You have a story for that. Let's say you want to teach someone to change a behavior. You have a story for that. For example, one of the stories that I tell, I'm sure some of you have heard the story before, is the cat and the rat story that I tell to help the audience to change their mind, to adopt new behavior. And the story goes like this, quickly. The cat was trying to eat the rat, and the rat was inside a little hole, and the kitty outside, meow, 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 meow. And the rat goes, well, I'm not going outside because I'm not stupid. If I go outside, the kitty is going to eat me alive. I'm going to wait. The whole thing went for hours. Then all of a sudden, the rat heard something like this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. He goes, huh? Big dog outside. The kitty is gone. It's time for me to go get my cheese. The moment the little rat left the hole, the kitty grabbed him, put it in his mouth, and he was about to eat the rat. The rat looked at the kitty and said, man, that's not fair. You're not a dog, you're a cat. Why did you do that? You tricked me. And the kitty said, well, because in this globalized economy, if you don't learn a second language, you're screwed. Right? By the way, that's a teaching story. That's a Swiss Army knife story. Then I link that story to, by the way, you can use this story too, about change, about adopting new behavior. You got to improve. So that's a Swiss Army knife story. I'm not going to be covering that today. The one that I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes here is your personal story, which is more advanced. Okay, I'm telling you right now, and once you learn this, you want to have the right expectation. And the right expectation, this is going to be a process for you. This is the formula that you're going to learn today, you're going to discover today, is the same formula that they use to write Hollywood big movies, big plays. Right? Avatar, Batman, Spider-Man is the same thing. So it takes some time. It's more advanced, but also, I know that being part of a mortgage coach community, you guys are the best in the industry, the best in the business, so I'm going to give some advanced material today. Roberto, when can I use my personal story? All right, specifically, and I use it, okay? One-on-one realtor presentation, yes. One-on-one consumer presentation, yes. One-on-one referral partner presentation, CPA financial planner, yes. Regardless if you're in a coffee house or if you're in your office. If you're doing group presentations in real estate offices, chamber of commerce, mastermind groups, lunch and learns, yes, 100%. Webinars, yes. Now, when you should not, I'm going to repeat, when you should not use your personal story, this format. One, when you're speaking to an audience who already knows you. That's a waste of their time, don't do it. And the second thing, when you're recording these Edge videos, 3 minutes, don't use it. Because you're not going to tell your personal story every single time you record a video, otherwise it's going to be too long, it's going to be boring. Okay? Now, some people, they record their personal story one time to explain who they are, why they're there, why they're on a mission now, and they use the video more as an intro package. And they put it on a website or the email. Okay? But so, if I use this story every single day, when I have a consultation over the phone with prospective client, I use it. When I go to meet someone's office, I use it. Coffee house, I use it. Public speaking, I use it. It is one of the most important marketing tools you have. Okay? This is super, super important. Now, basically a personal story, and I'm going to give you today, guys, I'm going to give you the how to do it. We're going to go in the second part of this call here, the how. A personal story answers who are you, why you're there, why do you do what you do, why are you passionate about this, okay? Like, for example, if I bring someone right now in this call and someone starts speaking, you want to know, hey, who is this person, why is here, what are his intentions, okay? And yes, you can say, my name is Roberto Monaco, my company is Influenceology Mortgage, and I'm going to help you to buy your dream home. All right? Yeah, I can say that. Or I can embellish. But what I found throughout my years, 11 years of speaking, that the best of business, they answer who they are, why they're there, why they decide to do what they do, okay, through storytelling. Why? Because storytelling, remember the examples I gave you through ER and objects, they transform the intangible into tangible, and they have the power to create behavior change. That's why we do it. Now, so let's talk about my personal story here. And some of you already heard that before. And I'm going to tell my personal story here, and then I'm going to break down and give you questions so you can craft your story. So I came here from Brazil. As you notice, my accent's not from New York. 18 years ago, this is when I graduated. I had a BA in finance, and I worked for Banco do Brasil for almost 10 years. And one day I said, you know what? When I graduated, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go and travel in English. So I arrived in San Diego, and one day, if you've ever been to San Diego, there's this coffee house, my favorite place, called 976 in Pacific Beach. So imagine this. It was a beautiful summer day. I could smell the ocean, feel the wind in my face, and I was literally reading a book with a dictionary translating words by words. And then I read this question, and this question changed my life. The question said, if I could do anything in my life and I knew I could not fail, what would I be doing today, right here, right now in my life? And this question, I'm sure you guys heard that before, was so powerful for me. I'm like, I don't know. I never thought. Look, I had a BA in finance, 10 years in banking. I never thought about that way. And I'm like, look, if I could do anything really, I'd become a speaker, a mentor, coach, because I love to help people. But for 5 years, guys, 5 years, I never took action. 5 years, think about it. 5 years, I had a vision for my life, and I was this big gap, and the gap was my fear. I don't have a psychology degree. English is my third language. I don't know anybody here. I don't have experience. And those sets of fears and limitations, limiting beliefs, stopped me from 5 years pursuing my goals, my dreams. Eventually, I got so frustrated that I went to a company here in San Diego called PSI. They no longer exist in San Diego. It's called Psi Seminars. And it was kind of like a 4-day breakthrough type of event, and really changed my life. And I remember the last day they have, hey, write your goals. And I wrote my 90-day goal, and I said, in 90 days, I'm going to work for Tony Robbins. Think about that. I didn't know what Tony Robbins' office was at the time. And with 87 days, I got a job as a speaker. So my job was, I met someone who introduced me to Tony, and I remember going to the interview, and the VP of sales, Jim Miller, said, man, you have a lot of energy. I like your style, but you have this thick accent. I don't know if you can represent Tony. And I stopped and I said to him, I said, look, obviously, English is my third language. I am not going to be your best speaker. I will be your number one influencer. And our job was to go to real estate offices, mortgage companies, car dealers, and do these 1-hour talks and sell the Unleash the Power Within events. So some of you in the call know me because I came to your office before. To have an idea, I was doing 400 talks a year. So if you ever, look, I know how it feels to go to a real estate office and they're in a cubicle and you have 10 minutes to pitch and they have a donuts, they have a caravan. I've done thousands of those meetings. So in the beginning, though, I was terrible at it, started speaking and learning and speaking more. But because I was 100% sales commission, if I sold, made money. If I didn't, I starved, right? And I remember we call sales cycles. My first time with the first sales cycle, they sent me to Hoboken. And I literally, after 3 weeks in a job, I went to the hospital on Sunday because I was so stressed out. I had this pain in my body, and I was freaking out because I was afraid that they're gonna fire me because I was doing all these talks and not selling, stressed out. The doctor said, dude, there's nothing wrong with you. I came back on the road, start speaking more. My results didn't get better. And remember a life-changing event. If you're on the East Coast right now, and I was living in the Edgewater, Hoboken area, and one day we had these meetings, right? We have a telemarketer who helped us set up meetings. And I looked at my calendar the night before, and I had 3 meetings in Connecticut. So imagine leaving Edgewater, Hoboken area, and go to Connecticut in the morning. So I left 4 in the morning, and I did 3 real estate talks. Probably I was in front of like 100 plus people, and I should have closed like maybe 10, 15 people, and I blanked, 0, 0, 0. And now my sales manager called me, said, Roberto, how's your meetings? And I'm like, 0, 0, 0. And now I got to drive 2 hours back. So I drove 2 hours back, came home 10 o'clock in the evening, and I looked at my calendar for the next day, and I screw up. It was my bad. Again, Connecticut again. Instead of getting a hotel there, and I did that again. I went to Connecticut again, and I had 3 more meetings, and I blinked again. I'll never forget that day. I had, in 2 days, I drove, 4 hours, 8 hours. I spoke in front of 200 plus people, and I sold 0 tickets. I'm like, I am tired of this. Ever, ever, ever again. And I came home the next weekend, and I'm like, I'm going to break down the best communicators on the planet. I remember downloading everything Tony Robbins had, everything Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, John Maxwell, the guys that I followed at the time. Is like, what caused them to be so good? They start talking, by the time they're done, people move, right? What is it? And there's several characteristics, several. But the main one was storytelling. And I'm like, that's it. So I realized that was the missing link, and that was what I need in my presentations to be, because like Andrew said, and because Todd said, and I'm sure Dave believes, you want to create the emotion, connection. And if you don't have a great story about yourself, who you are, represent, it's really hard to create the emotional connection. So much so that my studies, I'm not going to spend too much time here today, but I'll download the Zig Ziglar on iTunes. It's 1 hour and 12 minutes. And I counted. Zig said tells 25 stories. I'm like, dude, this is it. That was the secret. So then I actually hire a guy named Doug Lippman as a storytelling coach. And I learned eventually through a lot of this research and coaching, I learned about this work, Joseph Campbell. And Joseph Campbell wrote this book called The Hero of a Thousand Faces. And basically, he realized that in every culture, there's something called the hero's myth, meaning that it's this journey that every person goes through in life. And what he did was he wrote a book and started coaching Hollywood people. Now, Hollywood people, now, because they're very smart, what they did, they start developing movies. By the way, guys, I just updated this morning. This is the all-time box office. And if you watch the list of the movies here, Avatar has a hero, Titanic, Marvels. This is the top consumption, The Dark Knight, Batman, Skyfall, Transformers, Iron Man. People love the hero character. Think about it. That's everybody. It's in our genes. Why do we love it? It's because we, as people, we go through the same journey as they go. So now, what Hollywood movies, they start telling this story using this quote-unquote structure or format. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do it. So the original Joseph Campbell's format has 17 stages, and I started studying this, and it was so complicated for me and to teach. I'm like, you know what? Got to be a better way. So throughout 11 years, I have been fine-tuning this. I got my inspiration, I want to give you credit, from Joseph Campbell, but now we teach it for a solid way. And then I start telling my story like I'm doing right now, using this formula, and my results start skyrocketing. I start training all the speakers for Tony Robbins. I got big audiences, start closing more people, influencing, connect with David, and then my career took off. Ken Blanchard spoke the stage, Harv Eker, Dr. Kevin Hogan spoke the stage, Jeff Gitomer, and that's my last talk I gave for Deepak Chopra's company. So my career took off. And one of the major things that helped me was my story, because people remember story. And I realized that throughout all this journey, that when it comes to persuasive speaking, there's 4 things that you have to master: psychology, structure, delivery, and influence. And storytelling, your personal story, comes from the influence chunk, right? And obviously now we do events about that, and that's my mission here today to help with that. All right, that's my story, and I know I have 20 minutes here. So how can you today use this sequence, this code, so that when you sit in front of a realtor, when you sit in front of a consumer, when you are doing a lunch and learn, when you're doing your mastermind, and you tell, at some point you got to tell, hey, who you are while you're there. You have to. Instead of being any other loan officer who say, my name is Bob, and I work for this as a company, you're going to use the same structure to answer those questions, who you are while you're there, the same structure that made Hollywood billions of dollars, you're going to use. So when you tell this structure, unconsciously, they're going to be watching you, going to be like, oh, Iron Man, Batman, Spider-Man, obviously is in an unconscious level, right? But that's why you're going to be able to create this emotional connection. I'm telling you, every single time. So how, Roberto, how do I do that? Here we go, develop a personal story. All right, this is the most important slide here. This is the sequence, 8 steps. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to give a minute here. If you want to do a screenshot, take a picture with your phone or write it down. Everyday life, challenge, refusal, mentor, bold action, transformation, method, contribution. Now, I had loan officers come to our class the last 2 weekends ago, and we had people having breakthroughs because they're doing loans for 10 years, and they don't know why they're doing loans, right? Well, yeah, they know because they want to make money and provide their family, but they don't. But when they tell their life journey about their family is moving, they don't have a home, and they're struggling with kids, all of a sudden everything connects. So I'm telling you, this is going to be if you follow through this exercise I'm going to give you, it's going to be life-changing for you. So step number 1, write it down, everyday life. You want to start your personal story with telling a little bit about your everyday life. Okay, life was normal. Right? I was doing this, I worked for this company, I was doing this, and life was normal. Okay, and if you want to create identification, you describe your life as your audience's life. Right? So you create connection. By the way, I put after every stage here, I put these questions for you. I'm not going to go over every single question here. This is going to be your homework because I told Dave I want to make sure this call is life-changing for you. So for those who want to develop your personal story, here's your homework. So just go over to these questions like, how's your life before your transformation? How's your everyday life similar to your audiences? How are you feeling before? Then something happens. Now, if you think about, as I go through it, and you think about career, as you think about what you do today as a loan officer, at one point your life was normal, and then something happens, right? A challenge happened. Now, this challenge could be you lost a job, could be your parents got screwed with a loan, could be you moved, could be you're not making any money, or you saw something bad. Something happened in your life that challenged you. And then, here's the questions again. And this challenge usually creates a problem in your life. For some people, they frame as a problem. Some people frame as a goal. Now, for example, my story here, my everyday life, I graduate in a bank from Brazil, and my challenge was I asked this question, right? And the question was if I could do anything in my life and I knew I could not fail, what I would do. So I had a challenge because now I want to do something in my life, but I'm in conflict. And that's the refusal. The refusal, remember when I told you that for 5 years I didn't take action? When your life is normal and then something happens, usually we don't change. You have this event, you have this challenge. We don't take action right away because of fear. Here is a great place for you to align your fears with your audience's fears. So some of the questions that I want you guys to go through here is this. What prevents you from dealing with the challenge right away? What was the thought process when you do another challenge, right? How are you feeling? Most likely you're afraid. And if you look at your life right now, so now like your life was normal, something happens, you have this uncertainty, you're afraid, I guarantee a mentor show up. Now remember when Anthony came to our class here, he did an amazing story, and the mentor was mortgage coach. And the mortgage coach, the tool edge could be your mentor, right? Could be someone who helped you out, who was there to help you out. And a mentor could be a person, a software, someone that encourage, say, you know what, you're going to be able to survive this, you're going to pass this, okay? So who was your mentor? Was a person, was a thing, sometimes it's a book, sometimes, like in my story, it was the event that I went. Remember the event that was life-changing for me. And then step number 5, if you look your life's journey, there's a moment, a clear moment in your mind when you take action, say, you know, I'm going to do it. That's it. I cannot. Maybe you call mortgage coach for help. Maybe you're driving your car after a presentation real estate agent that didn't go well. You say, you know what, I got to change this. There's a moment that you say, I'm not going to be this type of loan officer anymore. I'm going to be the best in the business. I'm going to become an advocate for people. Right? If you think about your life journey, there's always an action. Okay? So for me, it was like when I applied for the job, it's like I want to get. I told this guy, look, I will be your #1 guy. That's what I want. I want to be a speaker, and that was my bold action. And then the transformational process. By the way, the majority of a loan officer that I talk to, they don't have a quote unquote they have a process in place, but they don't have a branded process. Let's say Roberto Monaco's home buying process. Right? I know you already have a process, right? Because you close loans. But my inspiration, one of them, is to create a name for a brand. So now, as you're telling your personal story, and you can say because your transformation of a personal story literally explain them why you're there talking to them. Is basically everything that happens until that moment. So in a transformation, I'm going to go really quick here. Okay, there's 3 types of transformation. As you go through your challenges, your enemies, the things that you have to overcome. So who are your enemies? And your enemies could be, like example, the company, the lack of systems, or the fear of being in front of a camera. The second thing, the transformation, the allies who help you. Besides your mentor, who else was there for you? And number 3, this is really important, okay? Really important. Your victories and what part of you that no longer exists. Let's say Andrew never recorded videos before, and now he does 1,000. What part of him that does not exist anymore? The guy who, let's say, the guy who didn't want to communicate through video, or the guy who who was afraid to be in front of a camera, or the guy who was making excuses I don't have time for. Now he transformed. That part does no longer exist. And throughout this journey, you develop a method. Right? In my case here, I have my own method that I teach public speaking, presentation, influence. As a loan officer, let me drink a little water here. Here, exactly in step 7, you plug your home buying process, your system. Now seriously, what is your system unique? Okay, yes, you can work for a big company, but you can brand your own home buying process. Or if you target realtors, how your mastermind, right? Brand it. That's how you develop your system. And then here, some questions for you to figure out the lessons you learned through your transformation, your processes, methodology, and very important, put your name. And then, like my name, for example, my system, I have several influencing for the front, name of my class, influencers playbook, and now my contribution is my legacy, is my impact, is how I impact the world. That's influenceology. Now, contribution. What do you want to share? I feel, my personal belief is that the best loan officers, they go beyond the transaction, they go beyond the money, and they want to become the advocate for consumers. Like they really are, and they feel their way, and they have this passion, and that's the contribution to their communities. Now, I want to give you several considerations here, then open up for questions. Number 1, I know I'm putting a lot of content here. I usually spend 3 hours, I'm doing 40 minutes. Number 1, okay? As you go through these questions, I didn't cover all of them, you got to have a reason to tell a story. You're not telling story because you know stories convert more people and create behavioral change. What is your reason when you're in front of a consumer or realtor? Right? And the reason is to frame your mission, your system, and be a little bit vulnerable and talk about who you are, why you're there, why it's unique. Here's a point that I haven't shared with you. When you come up with, if all you talk in your presentations is numbers and facts, okay, they can counter-argue that. Write it down. This is one of the most important things I forgot to mention. If your pitch or presentation videos all we have is numbers and facts, the audience as a viewer can counter-argue that. Your stories, your personal story, is impossible for them to counter-argue. How they're going to counter-argue your personal experience, your journey? They can't. That's why, because they cannot counter-argue, resistance goes down and your message becomes more influential. And like Andrew said, that Todd mentioned, that you got to engage them emotionally. That's how we do it. It's high level, yes, but that's how we do it. Number two, your story must frame your content. Very important, because it's not, so you got to be careful that if you're speaking for realtor, you got to have a story that has to do with reals. If you're talking to agents, you got to have a personal story that frames through consumers. It's very important, right? Number three, a big mistake people do is not a chronology biography. You don't tell every single fact. You don't tell everything that happens, okay? You just put in the sequence that I just gave you, 8 things, and you tell a couple times and you make emotional, right? Another point, you must be ready to your message. I have clients that come to my class and sometimes they really go to this very intense emotional experience and I tell them, you're not ready. You're not. Because what we don't want to do is start sharing a story and so emotional cry in front of clients. I don't recommend that. I really don't. So having an emotional story is very important, but I feel that you got to be ready to share the story. Now, this is very important. You're going to have different versions of formats. Today, because I'm doing a class only in your personal story, I gave you the longer format. So I have this format in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Today my format was for storytelling. I do have a format for video marketing. I have a format for public speaking. Right? So I use the same steps, the 8 steps, I just changed the content. The influencers, here's another belief I want to give you, is not what you're saying, is what you're doing is more important. What you're doing is more important than what you're saying. Okay? So take them through this journey. When you watch Avatar, Batman, Spider-Man, you're not thinking, hey, here's the bold action, here's the transformation, the journey. You're not thinking. You're just engaged in the story. The same thing happens to you when you tell a story. And it is a work in progress. The best suggestion I can give you, download these questions, go over and put your story in a 3 to 5 minute version, get your buddy, your wife, and tell the story and see if it moves them. I promise you, it will be one of the most powerful things you can do for your business. I tell my story every single time I open my mouth. The only exceptions, one, when I do, because I do a lot of video marketing as well, and I record these 3-minute videos so I don't tell the story over and over. Number 2, to the audience, okay? And I believe it really is one of the ultimate influence tools because you're going to tell everybody. All right? Now, I want to spend 2 minutes here. I want to show a video. If you ever want to, if you believe in the power of storytelling or presentations, we have a class here. As Dave mentioned, he sent a couple of his gurus there. Oh, I have here Anthony here. Which eye is there? Jeremy is here. All right. So we have this class. It's very fun in San Diego here. I'm not going to spend too much time talking, but basically, guys, we limit our class to 20 people. It's 3 days in San Diego, and we rock from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 8 to 5, 8 to 5. And the whole outcome is by the time you're done, you become a better presenter. And the graduation of the class, you do a 15-minute presentation. And part of the presentation, you actually do your personal story. If you go online, Influence for the Front, the tuition is $997, and you have an early bird in the May for $797. The next 2 classes is July 18th, 20th, or October 17th, 19th. And obviously, mortgage coach David's part of our community. We feel like family here. I've done maybe 15 webinars. And obviously, I want to give a special incentive for you guys. If anybody wants to take advantage of going to our class, when you go to shopping cart, just type it up, MC, okay? But please do not share this outside this call, MC for mortgage coach, and it's going to drop for $100, $697, and that's it. And I want to share a video, then I want to put up the questions here. Because the topic today is about story selling. So during the World War II, Sir Nicholas, he lived in England, and he was going to a vacation one time to ski, and he received an invitation because one of his buddies were doing some refugee work. And he decided to step up to help people. And he was responsible for bringing 669 kids from Czechoslovakia to Britain. So instead of, because the Nazis at that time were taking the kids and sending to the Nazi camps and kill them, and he was responsible for saving 669 lives. But obviously, like you do, you talk to people every single day, you take action, we really sometimes don't see the impact of the work. So I want to show you just 1 minute video here real quick.
All the letters. Back here is the list of all the children. This is Vera Diamant, not Vera Gissing. We did find her name on his list. Vera Gissing is with us here tonight. Hello, Vera. And I should tell you that you are actually sitting next to Nicholas Winton. And it was just so wonderful, so terribly, terribly touching. Can I ask, is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you stand up, please?
Your actions matter, guys. Every single day you're talking to consumers, you talk to realtors, you talk to referral partners to help them to buy the biggest purchase in their lives, to help them realize the American dream. Every single day you create impact. So go ahead and share your story, share your purpose, and share your love that you have for your business. Thanks so much. Anybody who wants interested in come to our class, our website's Influence for the Front. My brother David Savage, I have 2 minutes. I done it, man.
All right.
I done it.
Roberto, that was fantastic inspiration. I know I'm excited about improving my own personal story. For all you Mortgage Coach members on here, if anybody is inspired from this, you hone your personal story over the next several weeks, let me know. Come back in and share what you're doing and how you're doing it better. I want to hear from you, and I want to hear your stories. So a couple of reminders, everybody. Roberto has made an Edge video. So you could go in yourself, just put Roberto in the app, or click on the Roberto app. I think it's in the Facebook notes. Make sure that you connect with Roberto. Make sure you sign up for his class. You can sign up from that, from our Facebook page too. So the big assignments coming out of this is get clear and practice your personal story. Obviously, the more you can learn from Roberto, the better. Make sure that you're driving Mortgage Coach experiences in open houses. Again, I am very passionate about Roberto's, what he teaches, how he teaches it. I've been through his training. He's been a mentor and a coach to me, and everybody in our sales organization goes through Roberto's training. Again, open house is, make sure you're going to real estate offices. Do want to give a shout out and a reminder for everybody who's in Boston or New York. Tomorrow in Boston, Todd Duncan is going to be doing a 3-hour session. You can get to that from our Facebook page. And then on Thursday in New York. And again, if you are not in one of those cities, make sure if you're in one of the cities where the Sales Mastery tour is going to be, don't miss out on that. Make sure you go to it. Also remember, every Tuesday we're here, every Thursday we're here, every Friday we're doing a beginner's basic training. This Wednesday we're doing a special training tomorrow, 11 a.m. And just a big thank you to Roberto. Roberto, it's always great to have you in our community. Thank you very much, my friend. Any parting words, Roberto, as we wrap up today's call?
No, thanks so much for everybody. And I encourage you, I'm a big fan of Mortgage Coach as well. And my inspiration is that use the tools, do the edge videos, because I'm a big advocate for video marketing, and I really truly believe that consistency, if you're consistent record your videos, you can dominate your marketplace. So
beautiful. And then Andrew, I don't know if you're still on the call. Andrew, are you still here?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Any parting words as a loan officer who's meeting with realtors, home buyers? Any takeaways from your perspective? Anything you want to share as we wrap up the call?
Well, I would just say, think of the power of what he is saying. If instead of doing the standard team introduction video, you do a video telling your story and why you do what you do, how much more powerful would that be than just the same old thing that everyone else does?
So your game, you're up for improving your story and how you position yourself and tell your story as you start conversations with clients and realtors.
Absolutely. I think this is so powerful. I'm excited to go out and do it myself. So.
Good. Well, hey, Andrew, if you end up improving your story over the next couple of weeks to a month and you want to come on a coaching call and share where you're at, we'd love to hear it. All right?
All right. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Roberto.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we are wrapping it
welcome,
up.
buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Roberto, any last thoughts before we wrap it?
Yeah, if anybody has a question, I don't know if you can see the questions, Dave, but I'd love to answer any questions they may have. If people have questions about the content,
people are sharing, asking about the slides. Are you going to make those available?
Yeah, I'll make those available. Yep.
Okay, so we'll make those available. Put a link on our in the Facebook. By the way, a lot of just great calls. Love Roberto. How do I join the LinkedIn group? With Edgar, just go in there and ask to join it. We'll approve it. Roberto is the best. From John Rainey. Thank you, Roberto, for sharing. Great call from Helen. I want these slides from Walt. Just all great feedback, Roberto.
Awesome.
And one last run through to make sure I'm not missing a question. Yeah. We are good to go, Roberto. Let's wrap it up, and thank you as always for tremendous teaching.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.